So as always, if there's any props that you like to have, it can be blankets, it can be pillows, it can be yoga blocks, or even towels or anything that you can use to support you in your practice. Make sure that those are nearby. Um, and we'll start in just a seated position today. So you can do whatever you want with the legs as we settle in, whatever you want with the arms. I like to wiggle around a bit before I actually be still, especially if I've been sitting all day like I have today. And with our focus of trying to decompress a bit tonight, especially at the end of the day, especially during a hot summer, we'll do a little bit of movement just to kind of rinse out our day, but then we'll come to the end and do a little bit of a cooling, restorative yin-like practice. So if it feels okay, maybe you start to close your eyes. Feel free to move around again, wiggle anything out. You can also just come right into stillness whenever you're ready. Everything I offer is a suggestion. Listen to what you and your body need tonight. Start to feel the shoulders drop away from the ears. Soften through the jaw and the muscles of the face. Soften through the fingers and the toes. And start to check in with your body and your breath. At any point that the space that you're in right now doesn't feel like a good place to stay anymore, feel free to make any adjustments. If it feels okay in your body, see if you can invite a little bit of stillness in. Perhaps finding just 1% more stillness. And you can also think of that stillness as less effort. Take a few more rounds of breath here, just settling in. One more full round of breath, inhaling and exhaling. And allow your hands to come by your side. You're welcome to keep the eyes closed or you can open them up, yogi's choice. And then just start with your breath as you inhale, reach the arms all the way up to the sky. Feel yourself grow really tall and long. And then exhale, release. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up. And exhale, release. One more. Inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, release. Just roll the shoulders a little bit. And roll them the other way. And we'll come out of our seat and just start to make your way onto your hands and your knees. So finding yourself into a tabletop position. So you're welcome to slide a blanket or extra support underneath the knees, or even sliding a blanket if it's too much pressure on your wrist underneath the heels of the hand. And it just gives your wrists a little lift so there's not as much compression right at the front of the wrist. And of course, if there's any discomfort or pain staying on the wrist, you can always lower onto the forearms. And just begin to move through some cat-cows. So they can be your kind of textbook cat-cows, arching the back, looking forward. And then rounding the spine and pressing the floor away, dropping the head. Or they can be a little bit side to side, or almost more of a roll as you move up and down. Just encouraging you to move with your breath. One more full round. And come all the way back to a tabletop position. And press your hips back towards your heels. And you're not going to stay, but just press back as far as you can. And then use the strength of your hands to pull yourself back forward. And look forward like a cat pose. So let the belly button drop towards the floor. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. And then you're going to come towards a cow, or this is a cat actually, and then press your hips back towards your heels. It's a long week. I know it's only Wednesday. So as you come forward, you'll find that cow. And as you come back towards your heels, you'll move to that cat. And you can make the movement as big or as small as you want. Your hips don't ever need to come anywhere near your heels, just towards that direction. Let's take one more round. And then make your way back towards a child's pose, just so you can take some of the pressure off of the hands. So you're welcome to bring your forehead to the ground. You can roll out the wrists or wiggle the fingers. You can always bring your forehead to a blanket or a pillow or a block. We're just going to pause here. If this is not a comfortable place for you to pause, feel free to find something else. Just one more breath. Pull yourself back towards your tabletop position. Again, make sure you've got a little extra padding underneath the knees, especially if the floor is a little hard. And go ahead and extend just the right leg back. You can keep the toes curled under. Feel like you're pressing the heel all the way back, stretching through the back of the leg. Switch legs. Bring the right foot down, extend the left leg back. Keep the toes curled under, press the heel back. Then bring the knee back to the ground. Bring yourself all the way forward to lay all the way onto your belly. So you can drop the knees and lower all the way down from there. You can belly flop, pancake flop, roll, however feels okay to get there. And you can bring your forehead to the ground. I'm just keeping my head lifted if you're looking at me so you can still hear my voice. Soften through the jaw and the toes and the shoulders. And start to bring your hands right by your ribs. So just creating little chicken wings, hugging the elbows in, rolling the shoulder heads back. And start to lift just your head and your heart up off of the ground. So really feel like that lift is coming from the back body. And lower all the way down. Lift your head and your heart, squeeze the shoulder blades together. And lower down. One more. Inhale, lift your head and your heart. And then lower down. You can bring the arms in front of you like a pillow or bring them down by your side. And then start to prop yourself up onto your forearms. Your fingertips are pointing forward. Your elbows are about underneath your shoulders-ish. You can always be a little bit ahead. And feel like you're really trying to squeeze the shoulder blades together. So it's kind of that same action that we just took in that baby cobra, except our arms aren't as tight by our side, but we're still getting an arch and an opening through the heart. Just one more breath here. And lower all the way down. Bring your hands back underneath your shoulders. Press yourself back to your tabletop. That's always the hardest part. If a few cat-cows feels really good here, go for it, or even just a little bit of wiggle in. And then just like we did before, extend your right leg back. But this time, lift the foot up and start to bring that foot forward. So it doesn't matter if it lands all the way back by your left shin. You'll just slowly start to walk it forward. And you can keep your hands on the ground, or you can always bring something underneath your hands. It can even be on a chair or a table in front of you. Or you can start to bring that upper body up a little bit more. And feel like the crown of your head is reaching to the sky. Welcome to keep your hands on your thigh. Really pressing into your right foot and pressing into the back leg. So maybe the top of the back foot, the shin, trying to relieve any pressure off of the knee. There's going to be a little bit, that's just the way our foot leg is. If there's pain with having that much weight on the knee, then I definitely want you to bring the arms down. So that way you're able to release some of that weight. If it feels okay, you can reach your arms up to the sky. And start to cactus the arms. Feel the shoulders open, squeezing the shoulder blades together. It's okay if you're a little wobbly, I am today. And reach the arms up to the sky. Hands all the way to the ground. Bring your right leg back to meet your left. Welcome to invite any movement here. Then extend your left leg back. Lift the foot up and start to step that foot up between your hands. It doesn't matter how many steps it takes to get there. Now remember, you can keep your hands on the ground, on a prop, on your leg, on something in front of you. Notice that it's okay to be a little wobbly. Really find that rooting in the front foot. Find that rooting in the back leg. If you're feeling okay, maybe reach the arms up to the sky. Cactus the arms. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. You might even feel like you're arching the back a little bit. It's okay if it messes with your balance. One more. Inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, the hands to the ground. Slide your left leg back to meet your right. Invite any movement here that you want. A little cat, a little cow. A little side to side. And start to press your hips towards your heels. Toes together, knees wide. And lower the upper body down to the ground. Again, just like when we took our child's pose before, you can add props under the head or the belly, or even behind the knees. Or if you don't like child's pose, take something else where you feel like you can pause. Or you can reconnect to your breath. Or you can soften, even just 1%, 0.5%. Finding that bit of extra effort. Last breath wherever you are. Start to pull yourself back towards your tabletop position. You're welcome to stay here or curl the toes under and press your hips up and back to a downward dog. Pedal out the feet. Stretching through the backs of the legs. You've been to class with me before, you've heard me say this. If that inversion, that heart above the head does not make you feel good, stay in a tabletop position and then just kind of focus on stretching the leg back and really just releasing one leg at a time. If you're staying in that tabletop and you even want to find a bit of a stretch for the shoulders and the upper body, you can come more towards a seat because again, I don't want your head to go towards the ground. And just reach the arms up and maybe just take a full stretch like you just rolled out of bed. One more breath wherever you are, whether you're in your down dog or table. And start to bring the knees to the ground. Turn yourself around. Come back to a seated position. Now let's extend the legs when we first get here. And you're welcome to set yourself up so you're sitting on a blanket or a pillow or a towel, just to elevate the hips. And just start to roll the ankles. You might hear some snap, crackle, pops. Go the other way. Wiggle the toes. And then let's also roll out the wrists. Wiggle the fingers. And release the legs. And by release, I just mean kind of just shake them out, let them let go of any effort they're using to stay on the ground. And start to bring your right leg more in front of you. It doesn't have to be directly in front of you. It can always be a little wide. And just have it come out in front of you. And then bring the left foot to the inside of the right leg. So it's kind of a narrow stance. But still feel like you're trying to turn your body towards the right leg. And that's going to be a little harder because our right leg is trying not to have any rotation and our left leg has this external rotation. Feel free to slide props underneath either knee. They can be under the straight leg, the bent leg, both. Flex the foot, the right foot. And then just start to walk your hands towards the right foot. So your right hand can be on the outside, your left hand can be on the inside. Doesn't matter how far they go. But as you walk the hands towards the foot, feel like you're trying to pull the toes up to the face. Just one more breath. Slowly start to bring your hands in. You're going to keep your legs where they are. You can relax the right foot now if you want. You don't have to keep the foot flexed. And then start to reach the arms all the way up to the sky. Get really tall and twist over to the left. So you're twisting towards the bent leg. So feel like your left hand is coming behind you like a kickstand, and your right arm is trying to reach towards your left knee. It might reach the knee, it might just stay on the foot. But every time you feel the spine get tall and long, try to open up the heart just a little bit more. You can keep your head and neck neutral, or you can start to bring the gaze over the left shoulder. Stay connected to your breath. Just one more. Untwist the body. You can reach the arms up to the sky again, stretch it out. And then release the arms down. Extend the legs, shake them out. If you need to make any wiggles or shakes, go for it. And then just like we did on the other side, you're going to start to bring the left leg in front of you and slide the right foot up on the inside of the left leg. So feel as though you're trying to bring your shoulders to square the left foot and flex into that left foot. You can stay here or start to walk your hands forward. Doesn't matter how far forward they go. The sides are going to feel different. So have a little bit of forgetfulness from that first side. Try to stay connected to your breath or reconnect to your breath if you've lost it. Last breath here. Start to lift yourself all the way up, walk your hands in. Reach the arms up to the sky and twist over to the right. So bringing that right hand behind you like a kickstand. Left hand reaches towards the right knee. Doesn't matter if it's anywhere near your right knee. But just with every inhale, feel your spine grow long and tall. And every exhale, feel your heart twist open. Your head can stay neutral, or you can bring your gaze over your right shoulder. Few more rounds of breath here. As you inhale, start to untwist. You can reach the arms up to the sky if you want. And then bring the arms down to the ground. Every time I reach my arms up, I want to yawn. So it's okay if you get that sensation and reflex too. You can extend the legs out, shake them out. You're welcome to keep the legs out in front of you, or you can find a crisscross. We've been on sitting for a little bit, so any movement that you want here. Sometimes I just kind of like to move my spine around, especially at the end of the day. And it doesn't matter where your legs are, and it doesn't really matter where your arms are either, but just start to bring your right ear towards your right shoulder. You're not trying to force it there. You're just letting it drop to the right side. And you don't have to feel like you're forcing the left shoulder away from the left ear. But if you'd like to just encourage the length, you can let your left hand come out to your left side. Just an option. It's probably a really subtle difference if you even notice it at all. Nice and slow, let your head come back to center and drop over to the other side. So left ear comes towards your left shoulder. If you want, you can bring the right arm out to the right side just to encourage that length. If you're not sure, you can always play with bringing it out and just kind of checking in with how it feels. Just a couple more rounds of breath here. It's okay if you don't feel a lot of sensation. There's lots of little muscles around our neck and the base of our skull. And nice and slow, start to bring your head up. You can be still for a moment, maybe add a little rolling of the shoulders. Begin to bring your hands behind you, like you're leaning back in your hands, gonna lounge and kind of look up at the sky. And place your feet on the ground, wider than your hips, and windshield wiper the knees from side to side. So it doesn't have to be very big. Just adding some movement, feeling the weight shift from one seat to the other. Then bring yourself up. Extend the legs back out wide. We're going to do one more shape seated here. You can bring your legs as wide as you want or as narrow as you want. And you can stay kind of sitting up nice and tall, or you can just start to roll forward. You can relax the feet. You can put weight on the hands, or you can always slide some props underneath your arms, so your arms have a place to rest. You're welcome to stay still here, or you can always just add a little bit of movement. Last 2 rounds of breath here. In your own way, your own pace, just start to bring yourself up. Welcome to invite any movements. We'll begin to make our way onto our backs. We're not coming to Shavasana yet, but if you know you like props in Shavasana, just make sure you bring them with you so they're close by and you don't have to get up again. When you first get on your back, feel free to take any movement. And then eventually starting to let the soles of the feet come together and let your knees come out wide, creating butterfly legs. So you're always welcome to add props underneath the legs and the knees here. Allow your arms and your hands to come wherever is comfortable. So maybe they rest on your body, maybe they're out by your side, maybe they're up overhead. Trying to stay connected to your breath. Just finding your last few rounds of breath in your butterfly. Nice and slow, start to lift the legs up. Maybe pause, or if there's a movement that you want. And eventually starting to hug the knees towards the chest. You give yourself a little rock, a little massage of the lower back. And let the knees drop all the way over to the right side. So you might even bump the hips a little bit to the left as you do that. You could always add some props in between the knees or under the knees. Start to bring the knees all the way back to the center. And then drop them over to the other side. Last couple of breaths on this side. Then start to bring your knees all the way back to the center, hugging them in. And then before we come into Shavasana, taking any final movements that your body craves. So maybe there's a happy baby in there. Maybe you're just stretching your whole body long like a starfish. Maybe you're finding a different variation of that spinal twist. No need to rush through this final movement. If you're doing something that's two-sided, you can find the second side if you haven't already. You're also welcome to just head to Shavasana a little early. And then start to find your final Shavasana. Letting your legs fall out in front of you. And the arms come by your side. Feel free to add any support underneath the legs. And finding a place where you really feel like you can pause. And release the effort. However that looks like, whether you're on your back, your legs are up on something, you're on your side. Just really using these last few minutes of class in complete and total gratitude for your practice today. Shavasana. And nice and slow, start to bring some awareness back into the space. Begin to bring some awareness back into the body. Wiggling your fingers and your toes. Rolling out wrists and ankles. And rocking your head from side to side. Stretching your arms up overhead. Taking a full body stretch. And rolling onto your side. And in your own way, in your own time, start to bring yourself all the way up to a seated position. No rush to get there. Keeping the focus inside. Bringing your hands to your heart center. Gently bowing your head. Thank yourself for making it to your mat today, for your practice, your energy, your breath, and most importantly, yourself. Namaste.